Welcome back to The Explainer, everyone. I am so excited to dive into this one with you today. We are going to be analyzing a fantastic piece of source text today called Gold and Glory, The Evolution of World Cup Trophies. You know, if you're a young fan of the beautiful game, you already know the exact magic I'm talking about here. Every 4 years, it's like the entire planet just stops. Literally billions of us holding our collective breath, eyes glued to a patch of grass, waiting to see who's going to rise to the top. Now, as a veteran sports historian, I've spent decades, a lot of years, studying the games, the legendary players, and that deeply human drama unfolding on the pitch. But today we're looking at the very heart of that drama. We are exploring a fascinating journey centered entirely around the ultimate prize itself, the literal heavy gold that champions hoist into the air, and the immortal glory that comes right along with it. It's a wild story, guys. We're talking art, audacious thefts, fierce rivalries, and objects that have completely captured the world's imagination. Okay, let's dive into this. Gold and glory. Just think about that very second the final whistle blows at a World Cup final. It is just pure, unadulterated chaos, right? You've got grown men, literally the fiercest competitors on earth, instantly collapsing onto the grass in tears. Confetti's exploding everywhere, the stadium is absolutely erupting into song. And eventually, the captain makes that legendary walk to the podium. But see, this isn't just about winning a soccer tournament. It's a massive collision of two forces. On one side, you have the hunt for a tangible physical treasure, the gold. And on the other, it's the pursuit of a legacy that outlives us all, the glory. When a captain kisses that medal, they're participating in a celebration ritual that connects generations. But here's the real core conflict we're unpacking today. The intense tension between how fragile that physical object actually is and the absolute immortality of the athletes who win it. So, looking at our source title here, Gold and Glory, The Evolution of World Cup Trophies, it really acts as this profound thesis statement for everything we're talking about today. It brilliantly pairs that material wealth with abstract prestige. Now, to really wrap our heads around this, we've got to go back to the very beginning. We have to look at the visionary who started the whole shebang, Jules Rimet. Back in the late 1920s, Rimet, who was the third president of FIFA, had this completely audacious dream. He wanted to bring the entire world together through a single global football tournament. But a tournament of that sheer magnitude needed a prize that felt equally historic. You couldn't just hand out a ribbon or some generic cup. So Rimet commissioned the very first physical manifestation of this dream. It was originally called Victory, but they later renamed it the Jules Rimet Trophy in his honor. This wasn't just a shiny object to hand out at the end of the day. It became the baseline for every ounce of passion we see in the modern game. It was the first true embodiment of what it meant to be a world champion. Now, what's really interesting about this slide is how the word gold establishes the literal, tangible stakes of the World Cup. When we talk about the material reality of this prize, we absolutely have to talk about the breathtaking craftsmanship of that original Jules Rimet trophy. The artist was a French sculptor named Abel Lafleur, and man, he created a masterpiece. He didn't just use standard everyday materials. He sculpted this stunning, intricate figure of Nike, the ancient Greek goddess of victory, complete with wings, holding this decagonal cup right above her head. She was crafted from sterling silver and then heavily plated in pure, radiant gold. And she stood on this vibrant, deep blue base made of lapis lazuli, which is a gorgeous semi-precious stone. So when a player held that trophy, it was incredibly heavy, it was tactile, it was a permanent reality. Feeling that cold metal in their hands was undeniable earthly proof of what they just achieved. It was literally designed to feel like a piece of ancient mythology brought right into the modern era. But hey, a beautiful piece of metal is still just metal, right? That's only half the story. The true magic, the glory, happens when that metal absorbs the history of the players who essentially bleed for it. We've got to talk about those intense mid-century rivalries that totally define the era. Picture this, you've got these incredibly disciplined, tactical European powerhouses clashing head-on against the flowing, joyful, super creative play of those legendary Brazilian squads led by Pelé. And there was this famously dramatic rule back then. The first nation to win the World Cup 3 times would earn the ultimate glory of keeping the Jules Rimet trophy forever. That was the absolute pinnacle of prestige. And in 1970, with what is arguably one of the greatest football teams ever assembled, Brazil did exactly that. They won their 3rd title and in doing so achieved a state of immortality. They didn't just win a tournament, they claimed the goddess of victory for themselves and brought her home to Brazil as a permanent testament to their dominance. And this brilliantly illustrates exactly why the source text pairs these two specific concepts together. Because what happened next is honestly one of the most shocking, heartbreaking stories in sports history. And it perfectly highlights the fragile nature of physical things. In 1983, the original Jules Rimet trophy was stolen right out of a supposedly bulletproof display case in Rio de Janeiro. The thieves took this absolutely priceless artifact, and the tragic reality is, it was almost certainly melted down into gold bars and sold. Just like that, the physical reality, the art, the beautiful goddess Nike, utterly destroyed. But you know what? This is where the story actually gets profoundly beautiful. Because those thieves, they could steal the silver, they could melt the gold, but there is no way they could melt down the glory. They couldn't erase Pele's goals, they couldn't erase the memories of millions of fans, or the history permanently written in the record books. The physical gold was gone, sure, but that intangible legacy completely untouched to this very day. Let's move to and see how this builds into the next chapter, from static concepts into the dynamic idea of physical change over time. Because Brazil had earned the right to keep the original trophy in 1970, FIFA was facing a massive challenge heading into the 1974 World Cup. They literally had a blank slate. The ultimate prize had to evolve. The tournament was expanding, the whole world was modernizing, and FIFA needed a new symbol that could carry the immense weight of this new era. So they put out the call and received 53 different design submissions from artists all over the globe. But one of them completely captured their imagination. It was by an Italian sculptor named Silvio Gazzaniga. See, Gazzaniga understood that football itself was changing. He realized the new trophy had to reflect a game that was getting way faster, much more athletic, and truly global. So this transition wasn't just swapping out one chunk of metal for another. It was a completely necessary transformation to match a rapidly developing, modernizing world of sports. And that brings us back to our core subject, the evolution of these incredible trophies. Gazanaga's masterpiece is the FIFA World Cup trophy that we all instantly recognize today. I mean, it is a stunning work of art. It's crafted from solid 18-karat gold, featuring two beautiful rings of vibrant green malachite right at the base. But unlike that static, upright goddess from the past, this new design is brilliantly dynamic. It shows two athletes spiraling upward, arms raised in pure celebration, holding the entire earth itself. Gazzaniga specifically designed it this way to capture the raw energy, the joy, and the sweeping motion of a footballer celebrating a goal. And it perfectly mirrored the tactical changes happening on the pitch back then, moving toward those fluid, fast-paced styles like total football. For the younger fans listening, this is the exact same golden sculpture you've watched legends like Lionel Messi and Kylian Mbappe battle over. It's this dynamic, spiraling monument physically linking today's global superstars right back to the champions of the 1970s. So, the crucial point is this. When we look back across this whole incredible journey, from a gold-plated goddess tragically lost to history, all the way to the spiraling golden globe that commands the world's attention right now, we're left with a pretty profound realization. The physical container changed, right? The metal was swapped, the artists were completely different, and the game itself evolved in ways Jules Vermette probably couldn't have even imagined. Yet, the tears shed on that pitch remain exactly the same. The roar of the crowd is just as deafening. So I want to leave you with this question to ponder. If the physical form of the ultimate prize completely evolves, does its true value change even a little bit? Or does the real magic, the true glory, live entirely in the history we write and the memories we share? Thank you so much for joining me on this historical journey, and I cannot wait to explore more amazing stories with you on the next Explainer.